Welcome to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Herb Malsman. We are in New York City. We're covering New York City icons. Today is a very exciting day here in Visions. We're going to be spending some time at the New York Stock Exchange in Lower Broadway. Right now on the corner of Wall Street and Broad Street, and we're looking right over here right now off to our left on Wall Street. We're at the Federal Building, or Federal. I'm going to get the exact title of this building. This is the one in Lower Broadway where George Washington took the oath of office to be first president of the United States. It is Federal Hall. It is at 36 Wall Street, Federal Hall, and right there the statue of George Washington. We're waiting right now for Mirtha Medina of New York Stock Exchange. She's going to lead us in and then move us along to our destination and to our guest on this edition. Here is the tablet right here, right again underneath these rather large statue of George Washington. On this side in Federal Hall, April 30th, 1789, George Washington took the oath as the first president of the United States of America. So it happened right here, and this is where the first oath was taken. But the security down here is extraordinary, very strong, barricaded off. There have been threats in the past, threats of terrorism against New York Stock Exchange. So it's a far different world we live in today. We're going to cut tape right now to conserve a little tape. I understand we're going to be spending some time on the floor, the trading floor. Then we're going to go up for the opening bell. We're going to have to leave the building after the opening bell and then come on back for the closing bell. So we're going to cover the opening bell and the closing bell today on the program. So that's what's happening. It's about 9 a.m. right now. Again, waiting for Mirtha Medina. This is the first time I have been asked to wear a tie to do an interview. That is because a lot of national TV comes through here. People may be taking pictures. Everyone has to be in business attire coming into this building. So with that said, we're going to cut tape. We're going to be back in just a moment. As soon as we go back on, we're going to be inside the building. Again, you're listening to Visions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. Today is December the 1st, 2006. It is a warm day today. It is extraordinarily warm. It's going to be in the 60s, probably upper 60s. Then by sometime this afternoon, mid-afternoon, the rain is going to come. It was some scattered showers this morning. The rain will come later on this afternoon. And then tonight, we're going to have a cold front coming through. It's been snowing in Texas and Oklahoma, across the United States. We're going to get hit tonight, and the temperatures will go down into the 40s, and winter may finally be here this week. So with that said, let's cut tape, and we'll see you inside New York Stock Exchange. Cut tape. We're on the floor right now. I hope you can hear. We're with Mirtha Medina around here. I hope we're on take one. We're on the floor right now of the New York Stock Exchange. Very exciting. Lots of people. We're going to get a look at this soon. The bell is about to ring. Mirtha Medina is guiding us along. Very exciting. It's 9:30 a.m. Who rang the bell?
EEP, ARCA listed company.
Okay, that's who the celebrity is today. It's
Constellation Partners, LLC.
Okay, and each day there's a guest ringer?
Almost every day, yes.
Hi, Mirtha Medina.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, Mirtha won't be speaking. We're going to be with the trader. It is 9:30. It is a Friday. It is a Friday, the first Friday since Black Friday to start the holiday buying season. We're going to find out how that plugs in. We made the opening bell just in case. The bell you hear to begin the program just now, to begin this piece after my intro, was the Salvation Army gentleman ringing the bell. I figured that's a tale of two bells today, and they're both money bells, as it turns out. Okay, we're just going to cut tape. We're going to wait. I know we have a trader coming that's going to guide us along. The trader will be our guide, and we'll kind of react to the trade. We're going to take a look at the floor. We are on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. It is 9/31/06 on a Friday morning, December 1st, 2006. Let's cut tape. Okay, we're on, and we're going to get a description of something happening right now.
Well, we're in the main room. This is the main room of the exchange where all the cameras are located, and as we speak, we have someone from CNBC doing their hit, or what's known as on-air live from the floor. He's actually doing maybe a 10-minute report, probably shorter than that, and if you look straight in front of us, you will see the admin platform for the CNBC television show, which is where Maria Bartiromo does her closing bell program from.
And is Bloomberg News here, and all the all the different news organizations here?
Yes, we have about 33 representatives of different organizations, including Bloomberg, Bloomberg Radio. We do a lot of via satellite, so we have Bloomberg Italy, Bloomberg France. We also have 1010 Wins with Larry Kofsky. We also have Reuters, representatives from Associated Press, representatives from Getty Images, and the like.
All right. Although you didn't think you were going to be speaking today, thank you very much. Your voice sounds great. I know you had laryngitis a couple of weeks ago. You're very busy. We've been talking for about 3 or 4 months now.
It's been about 4 months now, yes, sir.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 months. It's very difficult to get on the floor. There's a lot of, we had to go through a lot of back and forth and then contract and that sort of thing. So this is a unique experience for both myself and listeners of this program. This is a unique moment.
Very much so. It's very difficult to gain access of the trading floor nowadays. It has to be a very unique situation or something that's very tied into our business or our competitors. And right now, there were reports we are cutting back the fees for our listed companies, which made a lot of news yesterday, as well as a technical glitch we have with our BBSS system that also made a lot of news and had me very busy this morning.
What is BBS?
BBSS is an electronic system used to trade here on the floor. The NYSE has their own version of BBSS, and our member firms have their own version of BBSS. And I'll let Mr. Porporra expound a little bit more on that.
And this is the big board.
Yes, it is the big board.
Okay. And we'll find out what the big board means later on. Mirtha, thank you very much. Because of where this tape is going, this program is going, that's what made this piece unique, and that's why we got access. I believe these pieces are being donated through the Library of Congress, National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped. They will not play in this country. As I understand, they're going to play only in foreign libraries for the blind, physically handicapped. And this is a donation to you folks through the auspices of Library of Congress, again, National Library Service for the blind, physically handicapped, James Herndon, and the really good folks in Washington, D.C., 1220, I'm going to say it again, 1291 Taylor Street, Northwest, Washington, D.C. I'm going to master this, send it on, and then your voice and what's happening today will be heard in foreign libraries across the world through the LOC NLS Foreign Exchange Gift Program. So that's what makes this program unique, and that's why Mirtha and the good folks at New York Stock Exchange allowed us access. So enjoy the piece. Mirtha, thank you very much, and we'll wait to go where we're going next. And sorry for haunting you all this time.
Oh, please don't apologize. This is a great opportunity for us. We really take great pride in being able to educate any and everyone about the financial markets and the wonderful things that are happening since March 8th when we became a public company. Up until then, for 213 some odd years, we were a public company. The big board was privately not-for-profit. So it's a lot of change in the making, and there's a lot more to come. We announced another merger, our second merger with Euronext, and you'll hear a lot more about that from Mr. Porporra once we join him. So it's a pleasure for us to participate.
Thank you, and of course March being 2006.
Yes, sir, March 8th, 2006.
Happy holiday, Mirtha.
Happy holiday to you and all the listeners.
Thank you. We're just on for one more moment. I misspoke when I said big board, and you were saying, Mirtha?
We were talking about the BBSS, which is an electronic system used to trade. And then there was a misunderstanding when you said we'll find out more about the big board. The big board is actually a nickname that's been given to the New York Stock Exchange as the capital of the financial world. So that just wanted to clear up that little discrepancy.
Once again, happy holiday.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, let's cut tape and wait for Mr. Porporra.
Yes,
Here we
it's
go.
9:37, so we're about to go try and find him.
It's 9:37, and we're going to go find Mr. Porporra. Let's cut tape. We're back on. You're listening to Divisions, a series of visits to almost everywhere. I'm your host and fellow traveler, Malsman. A couple of fun facts, and Mirtha and I have been going through. She's been giving me a little tour of the rooms. There are actually 4 rooms here. There's the new room, the blue room, the extended blue room, and the garage. So, and the blue room is the newest room. It's been open 6 years.
No, the new room is the newest.
The new room is the newest room. But one of those rooms is going to be closing soon.
Lease space.
It's lease space, and that's the new room. That's the new room?
That's the new room.
That's the new.
Also known as 30 Broad Street.
Also known as 30 Broad Street. It will be closing. They are only leasing it since they've gone public. They are downsizing a bit over here, and so the new room is going to be closed. So the new room, the blue room, the extended blue room, and the garage. And we're with Stephen Porporra. And the first question I want to ask is, how come the garage? Why is it called the garage?
Well, actually, the garage was the first new space opened, which was opened in the late 20s, right before the crash of 1929. It was opened in 1928. I guess in December of 1928. So you can draw a conclusion about market tops and when space opens. The reason it's called the garage is that originally was space where the members of the exchange in the late 1800s parked their carriages. So therefore the name garage.
So that's how garage comes about. And I know why the blue room and the new room, so now we know it all. Introduce yourself, sir. We're gonna cut for a moment. Let's cut tape. Okay, we're back on. We just set up a couple of ground rules and what we're going to talk about, what we can't speak about. We're not going to be speaking about stocks. We're not going to be giving any tips. There's going to be none of that. This is going to be, we're going to paint the picture of what we're in right now. We're also going to ask number 664 of William O'Neill and Company Incorporated, Stephen P.R. Porporra. We're going to ask why the badge such a deal.
Well, that's a good question. It was given to me as a gift back in the late 70s when I came down here, when I first came as a broker. And in our business, as a floor broker, we spend our time negotiating. So when I would negotiate a price for the specialist, if he was offering me stock at a price that I sarcastically thought was not very good, I would go, well, that's such a deal you're giving me. And I used it so often that they presented me with this little ticket. So now, that's my name. They don't even call me Steve. They just call me Such a Deal.
Such a Deal Porporra. Some of your background. How did you come to New York Stock Exchange? What brought you to this point?
Very interesting. I started on Wall Street as a young kid at 15 years old. I was one of the last board boys in Wall Street, worked high school and college summers. When I graduated from college, I got a first job as an over-the-counter trader. I was then moved to Los Angeles as a trader on the West Coast, and I joined this firm, William O'Neill and Company, and in 1977, he transferred me back to New York to be his broker on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And I signed the Constitution of the New York Stock Exchange on April Fool's Day, 1977. And I've been a member of the exchange ever since.
You said Constitution?
Yeah, well, when you become a member, before we were a mutual company, before we were a public company, we were a membership company, and you would sign the Constitution. When you became a member, you took a couple of tests, you did some training, and then you actually signed the Constitution. It was quite an event. You would invite your parents, your family, your friends. You would have a sponsor and a co-sponsor, and it would be a photo op. And you would actually sign the Constitution, and you can go up now that the Constitution is really no longer existing as it was. You can go up and have your pictures taken. They kept records of the photos of you signing the book. It was a big event.
Right. Okay, we're on the floor. It's kind of quiet now, you know, because the images you have of the stock exchanges, people yelling and screaming, and I got, you know, buy, sell, what's going on. That's sort of the image of the 1929 crash. That's almost the emotion on the floor. But it's kind of subdued here to some extent. How has it changed? Of course, you're computerized now, the new technology. Has that changed the tempo of the room? Has technology created this more placid surrounding?
Absolutely. But we still have the same. We still have situations where there are breakout situations in stocks where news comes out that surprises the market. We will still have that same yelling and screaming, the same large crowds. And again, the activity in the market today happens to be a morning when there's not much going on in the market, so things are a bit quiet. We're off to the side of the exchange. But clearly, addressing the issue of electronics, the electronics come into the exchange, and it's not just now, this moment. The exchange has been moving towards a more electronic market for the last 20 years. When we first introduced the dot machines, I remember when they brought the electronic book, we used to have a specialist book that was pieces of paper filed in the book when I first came down here. I remember when the dot machine came down, everybody said this is the end of the New York Stock Exchange that we've known it. Well, of course that wasn't. And we gradually increased the electronic input at the exchange over the ensuing years. And of course, since we've gone public and since John Thain has come to the exchange, it's accelerated greatly with the introduction of our new hybrid market system. And the issue with the hybrid market system, it's still offering the opportunity for a broker like myself to interact in the auction market and to offer price improvement and use his brokerage judgment. But the majority of businesses now can be done electronically and automatically. So yes, in answer to your first question, it has reduced the number of people needed on the floor of the exchange, and therefore also reduced the amount of noise and commotion that you hear ongoing.
In 1929, the crash brought the stock market and much of many financial institutions to the knees. In 1987 was the last crash. It was devastating for a lot of folks, but it did not bring the markets to the knees. What happened there? Why less drastic?
Very interesting. If you look at the crash of 1929, of course, we now know in retrospect that the market was ahead of the rest of the world in acknowledging that we were moving into a depression. And the stock, we crashed in October of 1929, and the market didn't bottom until 1932. And in fact, the low number of the Dow Jones, the all-time low of the Dow Jones Industrial Average was made in 1932. So it took 3 or 4 years to recover. In 1987, it was a devastating crash, but the market moved to new highs in 6 months after that. So you pointed out it was a much less onerous affair. In retrospect, we can see why. In 1929, the stock market and the crash was leading and foreseeing the nation going into a major recession and then depression, the worst in our history. In 1987, the market was due for a correction. In early 87, the market moved to new highs dramatically. It was overbought. It was due for a correction. We have a change in interest rate policy. The market was ready to sell off, but we had a thing called program trading and portfolio insurance, which was a very interesting way for institutions to hedge their positions. Unfortunately, program trading and portfolio insurance got out of control. We could go into that at another time, the dynamics of it, but what happened is that exacerbated that decline on that fateful day in 1987, and we down here thought that day that Wall Street was coming to an end as we have known it. Well, of course, we were wrong. The market quickly rebounded, but that's why there was such a difference. The crash in 87 was not foretelling a major recession and or depression.
As goes the world, so goes Wall Street, or is it as goes Wall Street, so goes the world?
It's an interesting question. Now we're looking, I had a debate on this just last night. Does the stock market forecast where the world is going, or does the world tell the stock market where to go? I like to think, and if you look back through history, I like to think that the stock market is a predictive. Stock prices are a predictive instrument. When stocks are valued, they're valued on future expectations. What is the future going to hold? And I always feel that the reason that the stock market is often, take 2000, as recently as 2000, we had the internet boom, the market was booming, and suddenly it rolled over in the early 2000s. I remember everyone go, why is the market selling off? Why are the tech stocks selling off? Well, of course, now we know in retrospect. So I like to believe that at any given time in history, there are very, very smart people and organizations who actually see and know what's going to happen in the economy and in industries, and it's those people that put their money up.
I find it hard to believe that Wall Street is baffled by any odd fluctuation. I would think you would always know why this is happening.
No, because at times such as right now, there are varying indicators that you're looking at. So we're getting indicators on retail sales and industrial production that might be slightly different than some of the other the factory utilization and productivity numbers. We're at a point where our economy is in flux. We've had the Fed. We had very, very low interest rates, and we had 17 straight rises. We stopped a couple of meetings ago, and now we're trying to see and wonder, did the Fed over-tighten? Is the economy slowing down too much? Are we going to have a soft landing? These are the questions. We're at a critical juncture now where monetary policy had been tightened, and now we're stopping, and we're trying to see, well, what are going to be the results? So we're at a point where there's a lot of uncertainty, and the market's uncertain as well.